Hi, it's Dennis here. I'm just going to go through the basics and probably a little bit beyond of copying and pasting things from one place to another. Uh, Sometimes you can paste objects between the same document, but other times you may want to move stuff between one document and another. So I'll just give you some examples of how to, I suppose the basics of copying something is you need to go to wherever the thing is that you want to copy. If I want to copy this paragraph, then I'd need to go there. I then need to select it in one way, shape, or form. So that can vary depending on the app that you're in. Uh, but almost every single program will support. Sorry, to what I did there was you need to select whatever you want to copy. So one way or the other, many programs have different ways of doing it. So if I left click the mouse and just drag, then that is going to select until I let go of the mouse button. I can then, in this particular case, the easiest way would be for me to use the right-click context menu, which just about everything in Windows has its own right-click context menu. So I can copy that. This doesn't have any cut option because it can't cut. This is not a document that you can take it away from. So I will copy that. So that's now in an area called the clipboard. And I use the right click context menu in this scenario to do so. So if I wanted to paste that, I could paste it here. And there's a number of different ways. Okay, let's just use Notepad for this example. Paste in here, right click, or I could go on edit. So this is using the menu. Typically under the edit, you'll find paste, copy, and cut. So in this particular case, I'll paste it. What this particular program, and not all do it, is also showing you what the hotkeys are to perform those same operations. And these are standard throughout Windows, and I think they're even the same on Linux, etc. So if I hold the control key down on the keyboard, which is your bottom left keyboard, bottom left on your keyboard, and then while holding that down, press V, it'll paste. So I'll paste it. I'll go down a couple of lines and I'll go Control V this time. Control V, Control V, Control V. You can hopefully hear me bashing that keyboard. So obviously I didn't capture a new line in there, so it's not actually showing as new paragraph. So I'll copy that line and with Control C, which is the hotkey. Control V, Control V. That's a bit more obvious. All right, that's the basics. Uh, Now, another selection key. There's a lot of different ways. You'll learn whichever way is more convenient for you. But select all, and I think that would be mentioned here somewhere too. Select all, Control A. Again, that's common throughout all Windows. So if I select all, I can now press the delete key. So I'm not copying, I'm not pasting this time. I'm just using a selection to mark what I want to delete. Okay, done. Now, okay, so when you this is a HTML document. Uh, Different programs have different types of data that they'll accept as something that can be pasted or copied from. So in a HTML document, you can either paste the it'll if I go select that with the click and drag, right click and copy. In the clipboard, it's made a copy of this data, but it's actually made two different variations of it at the very minimum. It's made a plain text version and it's made a HTML version. So if I go to a different program and say, let's say I'll use the context menu again, paste, then it's put in a HTML version because a notepad cannot take HTML. So therefore, instead of having a link that you can click, like if I click this one, I'll open it in a new window, let's say, That'll go to the All Boss Cemetery, etc., etc. So this doesn't have any links, so it's done its best that it can to represent what I wanted. If I go here and paste it, now Word has and rich text WordPad. Some programs will have different variations and let you choose exactly how to paste something. So, and Word lets you see what you're about to do. So that is a text only version. You can see the tooltip under my arrow. That is pretty much the most accurate representation. That's less good. Keep source formatting, merge formatting. So that to me looks like the, although I'm not 100% sure it's right, but one of these, pick which one is the closest to what you want. You might have to try it a couple of times to see which one you want. I'll just go with that one. Actually, that is the best. It didn't look the same. Oh, sorry, it's got that blank line, which this doesn't. The other one didn't. In fact, let's try that. Let's try right click, paste. And if you go for the menu, where would that be? Paste. So the same thing. So right click is just easier. Paste. I'll try that one. Well, that's actually worse because that is not highlighted. So anyway, there's a bit of you may not get an absolutely accurate representation of what you want, what you started with, but only if you went between the same programs would you probably expect in general that it be the same. So in this case, I'll just go Control V, which is the paste key that we saw before. So again, this WordPad, it's the Windows app. Uh, it's, I suppose, a very, very much cut down word processor. So it's a step above a text editor. You can format things. So if I select birth, I can make it bold, for example, or deaf, I can underline it with the keyboard, Control U. Uh, or embossed, I can make italic. So it should have actually been able to do a hell of a lot better job than it did, but it didn't. But in some cases, it will work. We don't even have the link here, but I have seen it work, so I'm not sure under what scenarios it will work and fail. All right. So uh, yes. So the other thing is it's only, as I said here somewhere, the clipboard can only hold one item unless a clipboard manager is used. So I use a free program called CopyQ, and I highly recommend it. Windows does have its own really, really absolutely basic uh, manager. And look, if you try it and you're happy with it, then you're happy with it. But it's it's just really basic. So to use that, as we've seen before, don't know which program it was, probably that one. Uh, the hotkeys, if you want to remember them, are copy. So control copy. So if you look down on the keyboard, the C key is next to the X key. So to copy, you press the C. To cut, you press the X. And the key to the right of those is V. So to paste, you press V. Uh, Control P was obviously used for printing, so they couldn't do P for paste and, you know, C for cut. Well, you've got two C's here, so they try and use keys that somehow will be memorable. But so they've chosen keys that are all together. The keyboard keys are Z, X, C, and V. So they're all very close together. So uh, the Windows clipboard, they've used the paste because you're wanting to choose from a history of the clipboard to paste something. They've said that the Windows paste function is the Windows key. So that's next to, bottom left of your keyboard, the Windows key, plus V. So if I press that now, Windows V. Now I turned off the clipboard because I don't use it, but uh, if it's not already on, then you can turn it on. So obviously it's only got one item in the clipboard at the moment, but if I let's say copy Control C, Control C, and let's go maybe to there, Control C. Now let's go down to here, and if I go, Windows plus V, then I can choose from any one of these previous items. So if I want the def thing that I copied, I put it there. If I want Windows V, if I want the original text that we copied, I'll put that back again, blah, blah. So Windows V, you can have pinned text. So I pin that, it will not drop off because it's got even the history has only got a certain capacity. But pinning it doesn't keep it in that same position, and you can't actually tell that something's pinned visually, which is idiotic at the minimum. Anyway, so it's not very good. I use copy Q. Why is that covering it? Shouldn't cover it. Okay, so you can see that copy Q, it can save it as well. So everything we've done that's in that history is here. So we've got the birth, we've got the ORBOS, we've got the def, I've got an option that says that the last used one goes to the top and removes it from the rest of the list. But if you look here, you can see I've got up to 999 things. So I can go back to a couple of days ago if I remember that, I had something in the clipboard. So if I can't remember what it was, I can start searching. So if I knew it contained Sally, then these are all the things that contain Sally. And I could click on, let's say, that one, and paste that. Now, probably format word wrap is an easier way to display that. So that's what we just pasted in there. All right. Now, so just going back to this. This particular thing I have seen, I have, when I try and select something, because basically Windows is all about selecting and deselecting things, so for one reason or another. Sometimes for whatever reason, this particular page or URL findagrave.com, the page can become unselectable. I've very rarely seen it, but this page is the main culprit. What I found is, if worst case scenario is you just refresh it, and for whatever, so F5 equals refresh, or right click reload, or Control R to reload. So however you refresh the page, then it becomes selectable. So I don't know what that is, but whatever. So I'll just copy some different text again to give you a better idea of what happens. Control A to capture everything. Go to here. So I'll capture a different type of text. In this case, not everything is selected. There is not much you can do. You could try going a bit further and then selecting it. Depending on, you might want to select the whole page, copy it into the destination, delete what's around it. That might work if you really, really wanted that edit there. But that's the least of my problems. So I'll copy that. So just again showing you the different attempts at displaying it. Control V. This is just hopeless. I was hoping it would do a better job, but I don't know why it's not. Control V. So This is obviously in Word is the best format because it supports HTML, so pretty much knows what to do. The only trouble you might get into is any styles that you might have, etc., that might be clashing, and that is one of the reasons why you've got the different options here. Uh, okay, uh, so that's the main thing for note taking. Because that's a common reason for doing it, other than just editing a document. I don't recommend you use any of these apps to do so. I would use Evernote, and just to give you an example of how I might capture this page or this section of the page, if I only wanted this, and again, I can't select that, but I go to the Evernote Clipper. Because I've selected it, it's automatically gone into selection mode. So I can now save that clip. I can give it tags. So if I want to look at anything related to, well, this is not related to Android, so let's get rid of that. If I wanted to find anything that I've clipped with this web clipper that I use, wherever the icon went there, uh, and this is Windows related. Actually, it is Android related. No, Handbrake. So no, it's not. But Handbrake runs on Windows. So I can put keywords here that I want to look at later. So I can save that clip. Now I can also go simplified article. If you look through this, it looks like what you want. Then fine. Normally I do the whole page for things like Handbrake. It's a tool I use. I want to have the whole information. But you can go article. That may or may not get the whole thing. So that is why you've got the plus and minus. So if I go minus, see what's left. Uh, so this is not a suitable, well, plus. I think that was actually suitable because you don't really need this part. So I'd probably be happy with that myself. Otherwise, you're taking the full page, everything on there as it is, as good a job as it can do. Otherwise, a selection. There's other things you can do, but let's say I go the full page and save clip. Now, it's going to take a while to sync, but if you look at my Evernote, if I open it, let's not do that. If I look at Evernote, why is it not opening? Okay, yep. Okay, this is Evernote. So I need to sync if I want to capture that note. So there's the Handbrake article that we've got. Now, what I generally try and do is I like to put an underline there, give it a title, my own title, and then I'll put things like, you know, details. Let's say call it the home page is at such and such, and I don't know how this drag and drop's going to work, but no. Okay, so there, Handbrake. I copied the link from the browser to here. So if I now click on this, it'll open that page. So I do all that. So I put all the details, like any particulars of settings I might have done to Handbrake. Now, if you look at the tags, I've got two that are taken with the web clipper, copy Q, and that's a better example maybe. So I can go to download it or the main information. That's the main documentation, but there's a FAQ and a keyboard shortcuts that I put in here, and that's pretty much what I clipped here. I like to add pictures if I don't, because I like this view, because I know the logo for copy Q, so I don't even have to read the text. If I'm quickly trying to find something, I go with the logo or whatever. Anyway, so that's an easy way to, other than searching, I could search notes, and I can search all Clipper notes, because currently I've got Clipper selected, so I can search for within those, or can search within all notes, or you can organize different notebooks. I've only got one on here. You can share notes amongst people, etc., etc. So I think you'd be crazy not to use this or some other note-taking app to take notes. Okay. Okay, so let's go through this. So again, the basics are you go to wherever you want to copy something, you select the text, you select it, whatever it is. Some of the ways, it can be pretty much anything. Some particular programs might create their own types of things. So if it supports copy and paste, well, then you can copy those. So use a mouse. Okay, so to copy, to select something, I'm saying here, click, hold the left mouse button, drag. That's pretty useful one. Click. So that's just clicking something. Can potentially do it. If you double clicks on there somewhere. Depending on the program, it'll do different things. So I double clicked this, it did the word plus the space. I hate that, but whatever. Double click it again, and it'll do the whole paragraph. What happens if I keep it going? That's as far as it goes. So there are some ways it'll work well in some programs, other than the obvious. So select all we use. So if I go select all, then Control A, or if you the reason I like context menus is one, people don't use them enough, and two, they forget about them. So if you right click, it's generally easier. Okay, this is the exception. For whatever reason, Chrome doesn't have copy. Is that true? Sorry, I haven't selected anything. So is there a select all? There's not even a select all. So, but if I select something, and then I can copy. Okay, so this context menu on this particular app doesn't contain everything you'd want. I suppose none of them ever do, but anyway. Okay, so then you've selected something. You then want to copy it to the clipboard, and Control C or right click copy gets it into the clipboard. It only remembers the last thing unless you're using some type of clipboard manager. And okay, so I suppose I didn't actually explain cut versus copy, but the difference between cut and copy. If I go to, let's say here, let's say I want to, and this time I'm holding the shift key down while moving pressing the right arrow. So I'm using the keyboard. Yet another way of selecting. Okay, so if I say right click copy and then move here and go right click or control, I'll use Control V this time, paste, you can see that it's left that in place. But if I go cut, and I'll just use the cut option there, then you can see it's removed it. So really, the only difference between a copy and a cut is that the cut will, when you press cut, it'll take it away from where it is and put it into the clipboard. The only exception to that is when it's files in Explorer, it won't cut them immediately. It'll perform the removal operation on the source at the time that you're pasting. So that's probably common across all operating systems for a number of reasons. Okay, so then you've got it in your clipboard, you go to the destination, whatever that is, and you paste it one way or the other. Now, the other thing is drag and drop, which is also an interesting way of doing things, but that bypasses the clipboard. So strictly speaking, it's not something that's related to what we're doing here. But let's say, again, I've got this thing selected. Now I can just click that selection, drag it, and then let go. And again, I'll do it to this, and again, I'll do it to that. Notepad does not support drag and drop of any type, so I can't do it for Notepad, but these support drag and drop. So similarly, within the document, I can do the same thing. So if although I'm not sure, okay, so if I go there, drag it, I can drop it there. In this, it's a cut operation. So there might be, maybe if I press shift, it won't cut it. So looks like the default is a cut. No, shift doesn't work. Control. Okay, so if you press the control, it copies. Let's see what Word does. I don't normally do it that way. So let's say I've got that and I copy that. Didn't even do it. Looks like it wants to. All right, I'm not sure what's the situation with Word, but anyway, this is just the basics of what you can do. You can go on for hours. Okay, so drag and drop and note taking. I think that's pretty much covered the clipboard.